Raigi asks, how was your wife? How was to your wife take a job in the U.S.? Let's say it like this. How did your wife get a job in the USA? What does she do professionally? Now, I think the reason this is a good question is because she is from another country, and so it's a good model for how you do this. If you're from another country and you want to get a job in an English-speaking country, what's the process? What are the steps? Now, obviously, you need to do this legally. That means you have to have a green card already, or you have to have a work permit already. If that's the case, then you often have to apply in your country first, get accepted for the position, hired for the position, and then apply for example, working visa or green card. Let's put that aside for a second and assume that you're here or you want to get a job in an English-speaking country and you're curious how to do it. Now, first, you have to know what skill set is relevant now. I can give you an example in my wife's case because I think it is instructive. So she's a designer. She went to school for art-related things. She studied animation. She's worked in design, especially graphic design. And so when she came to the United States, she thought she would look for something in that field, graphic design. Fine. So we went through a process together. I was helping her of applying for jobs, very intensive process when we got to the United States and moved to New York of applying for jobs. And at first, it was really just making sure that she had a very nice, perfect professional resume, some work that people can look at. This is for a designer. You have to have what's called a portfolio and very strong cover letters. So there are three elements here for the basic sort of entry level, I wouldn't say entry level, lower level design positions. Her first time working in the United States, she had never done design work in the English language world before. New country, right? She's a smart lady. So I wanted to do everything I could, but I knew that she could get a job on her own too. I helped her make the perfect resume. She put all of her past work experience related to design in the resume, and we together worked on making it sound clean, nice, simple, very concise, well organized. You don't want your resume to be too wordy. You don't want your resume to be 10 pages long. 1 page, maybe 2 pages, not longer. Very clean, very simple, perfect punctuation, perfect spelling, very crisp writing. If it doesn't have perfect spelling, perfect punctuation, the employer will see that as, oh, you're not very serious about this. Toss it. Throw it. It's got to be perfect. So we made sure that was perfect first. Now, I asked her to do 2 different resumes. She had one related to sales jobs because she had also worked in sales, and one related to design. She has 2 different skill sets. Do it separately because if you put too many things that are totally unrelated into your resume, you're applying for a job in design, or too many design things in a job related to sales, they feel, how is this relevant? What can I do with this person? I don't know. Throw it in the trash, okay? Maybe shred it. Eat it. Maybe they eat it. I don't know what they do. But that's important. So make several versions of resumes for whatever job you're applying for. As you get higher and higher, this becomes more and more important as you have more and more experience. Next, you have to have, if you're in art or you're in design or anything like that, a portfolio is extremely important. It's a website. You have to keep it up to date. You can put it on Behance or another platform, or you can build your own website. It's better if you build your own website. It's got to be clean. It's got to be well designed. It's got to be easy to use, easy to click on various projects. They need to be able to see the quality of your work. So that's specific to artists, designers, creative people. The portfolio is extremely important to the process. Very important. Next is the cover letter. Now, this is something that's extremely important in American companies. Cover letters are the letter you write that you put in front of the resume, that you send in the email. That is the message, and then under that you put the attachment, which is the resume and the portfolio, or the link to the portfolio. This is the thing that's going to grab their attention. The fact is you have to write a unique one each time. Now, I think my wife was a little bit lucky here in this case because she happens to have a husband who is an English teacher and a pretty good writer. I have, been paid to publish writing. I'm a decent writer, and so I spent a lot of time making her cover letters really good, very professional, to get people to really pay attention. So she got a lot of interviews. A lot of people, they don't get any interviews. She got probably 80% of the interviews she tried for. At least she got an interview there. She got in the door. That's the important thing. So, great cover letter, and you can look up how to do cover letters. I'm going to be doing this in a future course. Great, perfect resume, and if you're an artist, great portfolio. And if you can have references, that's good. Now, as you get higher and higher, I think LinkedIn becomes more important. So now, instead of just checking your portfolio, as you reach higher and higher positions in your career field, especially in the English-speaking world, you have to have a LinkedIn profile. It's got to have your experience there. It's got to be up to date. It has to have references from people you know. That is very important. That means people have written things about you and it's posted in your LinkedIn profile. So higher level positions, you've got to have a strong LinkedIn page. And I would say that my wife does have one. After that early job, she worked in that job for a while. She wanted to move into a more specific career. So she moved toward UX rather than just graphic design. The pay is a lot better. And now she works in a much, much better job than she had before. But that learning process in that first job was very important. And the process of learning a new skill that's more specific, UX, user experience design, was interesting for her. She actually quit her job, learned for 4 or 5 months, and then applied for new jobs and got a much, much better one than before. So that's the process for her. That's how you get a job in America. There's a whole process here. I've got a course. I know I've mentioned this kind of thing before. I have a whole course about this, which is how to do a job interview well, how to answer the questions, how to build a resume. You can check that out in the links in the description, Udemy or Skillshare. And it's really important that you are well prepared and very careful and very clear and keep things simple when you're applying for a job. So hopefully that's clear. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. Make sure you subscribe and check out those courses in the links.